Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Mamma mia, what did we just do? Carlos Alcaraz is that close to become a black and white player, a Juventino. Mamma mia, do you remember when I told you Mercato is crazy? The famous song of last summer, Mercato is crazy tonight, la 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 la. A moment where I was giving all hopes to have a midfielder in January to join our team. Well, that's where out of nowhere, Giuntoli and Co, they go on the market and they take a player. Carlos Alcaraz. I tell you, I was not even believing in it. 11 p.m. I post on Telegram, Juventus is interested in Argentinian player Carlos Alcaraz. I post it, I decide to go to sleep because I said, what will happen? Nothing will happen. And that's the problem, because you remember the famous quote, Mercato never sleep, and really never sleep, because this morning I wake up, what do I see? Tweets. Post on Telegram, thanks to Mo El Shahali, Carlos Alcaraz is done deal. We are speaking about done deal. What a fantastic player. We are speaking about the top future generational player, the best midfielder of the world, Carlos Alcaraz. What did we just do? Romeo Agreste this morning, he confirmed, done deal. Alcaraz joins Juventus on loan with buy option clause that is not mandatory, so it's an option to buy. Fabrizio Romano is also speaking about the guy that Juventus is about to sign, telling us even more information. Here we go. Argentinian midfielder is on his way. Where? Not to Torino yet, but to the medicals, because he will do the first part of his medicals in London before completing the second part probably tomorrow or maybe even this evening when he will join Juve. The second part of the medicals in order to be on time, because we know that the transfer market is closing tomorrow. He's speaking also there about a not mandatory signing for Juve, so it's a loan with an option to buy. He's telling us that the total package will be a bit more than 40 million euro. How is he arriving to that number? Probably a 35 million euro fix, that would be the option, plus probably a 5 million euro loan for the remaining part of the season. I am not sure. We'll discover the figures a bit later. Well, I tell you, nobody knew. Tutto Sport this morning, they are still speaking about tennis, and they wrote a title, Più forte di Alcaraz, stronger than Alcaraz. Speaking not about the player that will join Juve, but of course speaking about Sinner, that in an interview someone said he's stronger than Alcaraz. I think that if Tuttosport knew that we were about really seriously to sign the player, they would have probably chose another title, because Più forte di Alcaraz, stronger than Alcaraz, is not the best way to open the paper with. Well, speaking about tennis, it's beautiful, the coincidences of this world, where Max Allegri a week ago or 2 weeks ago was speaking about, who is Sinner, who is Djokovic. We are Sinner, he said. Remember, and Inter, because they are older, you are probably Djokovic. Well, in the end, it's not Sinner, it is not Djokovic, but we take Alcaraz. Incredible. Nobody knew? There was a little spoiler in November. Do you remember? There was all the players that were speaking and answering the journalist of Juve, the one that is working for Juve for doing the shorts, and they were asking who is your favorite tennisman. We had Djokovic, we had Sinner, and then you had two guys, Dean Huijsen and Kean. They said without hesitation Alcaraz, because they already knew, they were already sending us a beautiful message. Alcaraz. Okay, jokes aside, we were still in that trip. Who will join Juve? Will it be Giacomo Bonaventura from Fiorentina? Will it be El Tucumano Pereira from Udinese? At the end, it's not the one, not the other one. For what reason? Because Juventus really wanted, probably after being scared of that Empoli game, understanding that we really needed a midfielder, to activate and to go for a cheap, fast, quick solution that could give immediately something to Juve. We went for Bonaventura, but unfortunately Fiorentina said, no, we don't release him. No, out of question. Probably there was a bit more possibilities for Pereira, but there it was Juventus that said, no, 4-5 million is out of proportion for the 33 years old, even if we take him into consideration, even if Max Allegri believe in him, we believe in the player qualities, but probably it's too much for an investment. Even if it's 4-5 million euro, it's too much. Then yesterday, we know it, Kean, he went to do the medicals to Atletico Madrid actually two days ago, and yesterday the final decision came from Atletico that said no. For what reason? Because Juventus is confident that the player can recuperate in the month of February, while Atletico Madrid, they think that he could recuperate for the month of March, and they said paying 500k for a player that we will not have ready before the month of March, it's probably too much. Coming back to Juve, so strength to Kean. I don't know if he will remain, or today or tomorrow he will go to another team. I don't know, but I wish him the best, because it's absolutely not easy. Put yourself in the spot of Kean. It's not easy. Yeah? When you're ready to leave a club that actually grew you, because he's there since the youth academy, and then you have to come back after failing medical, it's not the best ideal situation. But that's where I believe Moise is coming back. We don't have the money. You know what? Ciao, it is over. No midfielder. But then you have that Gazzetta dello Sport article of this morning that's saying, here is the player. It will be the Argentinian one from Southampton that will be actually the new midfielder of Juve. Thinking myself, I know why this happened. There were some difficulties for a quick fix solution, Bonaventura and Pereira. And then there is one that probably not a lot of people will link it immediately, but there is Sudakov. Yesterday, the news came that he's extending his contract until 2029 with an increase in his salary, and there is a release clause of 100 million euro. How long did we tell you here on the channel that Sudakov is a priority, a target number one for Giuntoli from the summer? We even tried to anticipate it, but it was impossible. Now it is really impossible. It is over. And when Giuntoli understood we need a midfielder, we need a quick, cheap solution immediately, but even these ones are quite difficult. We keep the money for later, for the summer, for Sudakov, attacking midfielder. How many? We already described the player. But now it is impossible. Well, let's go for another target that we have there that nobody actually spoke about in the white and black, in the Bianconeri world. Nobody. There were already some talks about the player, not in the world of Juve, but in Serie A. If you go back to articles that I went to do some bit of researches, I found back articles from the 28th of June 2023 when Giuntoli was still there at Napoli, and they said Napoli, the new name for the midfield is Carlos Alcaraz. He was already on the list of players that Giuntoli with Micheli were following. Not only Napoli, because a few days later, on the 1st of July, where Giuntoli was still at Napoli, not yet at Juve, he arrived on the 7th of July, well, they were speaking about an interest from two clubs of Italy, Napoli and also Milan. So it's a player that was already known in Serie A. They were following, and they really wanted to go for him. Why? Because Southampton was relegated to the championship, and they said, you know what, we can go there. We can go there, and we can even go for him for cheap, where the request there were between the 30-35 million euro, and Italian club said, it is too much for us. Are they the only clubs that were interested in the 21 years old player? No, because according to Burgos, that is working for Spanish paper AS, he spoke about Alcaraz, and he said there were a lot of clubs on the player already for now, already for the winter, and he was that close to sign for Nottingham Forest. Only the signature was missing. Juventus was the last club to show interest in the player, and Giuntoli and Juventus, they actually closed the deal in 4 hours. A lot of time in Italy we use the word blitz. Well, this is a master blitz, because he didn't start doing the researches now. It was a player that he already knew. He probably already had some contacts. He already knew everything. He studied him. And from the moment that he understood Sudakov is blocked, no cheap solution, we still have we have money. It's not that we have problems. We have money, but that we didn't want to invest immediately now. If we can go for a loan with an option to buy, because that was mandatory for Juve, an option to buy, we go, we take the luggage, and we take the player with us. Fantastic work from Giuntoli. Now I told you probably in the video, and you will say, Beppe, you are exaggerating. I told you, future generational player, the best player of the planet, the best midfielder of the planet. I exaggerated. Why? Because until yesterday, I never heard speaking about Carlos Alcaraz. Never heard the name Carlos Alcaraz, except of course in the tennis world, but in the football world, never. So I made some researches, and I tell you the truth, it was extremely difficult to find some news. Even on SofaScore, when I type in Carlos Alcaraz, he showed me the tennisman instead of the player. Really crazy, funny. So I went and I tried to find some experts of Argentinian football, people that knew it. By the way, if everything goes well, this afternoon there will be a second video with a journalist that knows really well Argentinian football, that knows who is Carlos Alcaraz, and we will do a kind of interview together so that he can explain us really seriously who he is. What was I able to find? Well, thanks to Giacomo Cobianchi, I was able to find, that is actually a scout that is working also to Mola TV. Well, I was able to understand a bit that the player is born in 2002, 21 years old. This, I didn't need an expert to find that information, but he started actually playing 4 years ago at professional level. Only on 2020 of January he started. January 2020, first professional game. It was the 26th of January against Atletico Tucumán. It made me smile because we were interested in El Tucumano Pereira, and at the end we signed a player that his first professional game was against Atletico Tucumán. Coincidence? I don't know. So it's actually a quite young player because he made his debut when he was 17 years old. He's now 21. A player that when he was playing in Argentina, first professional starts, well, he was actually super versatile because a lot of changes of coach while he was in Argentina with Racing. He played in all the different positions. On the right side as a right winger, right midfielder, right back even, as a center midfielder, attacking midfielder, defensive midfielder, center forward, left winger, played all the possible position. Only goalkeeper was missing. Player, I told you, super versatile. A player that loves to start a bit more on the left side to enter. Why? Because he's a right foot player and he knows how to dribble. A lot of technique there in the player, but it's a player that didn't lose that versatility. That is one of his biggest and really beautiful skills. When he was sold to Southampton for 14 million euro, now we are speaking about 35, so it's more than double the price that they are asking after only 1 year, because he arrived late January 2023 and is leaving in late January 2024. So 1 year in Europe, 1 year with Southampton, divided by Premier League and also now Championship. Well, the player is ready for his next step in his career. Where other is he strong? Well, it's a player that makes from his offensive runs off the ball a lethal weapon. So it's a player that knows how to enter, inserting him in spaces, and he's also super lethal in front of the goal. He knows how to finish. That's extremely beautiful. Not only that, because he also knows with his height, and there I have a problem because I don't know if it's 183 or 176 depending on the size, but looks like he has a beautiful explosivity. He knows how to jump and also score goals with his headers, and not these kind of goals, important goals, crucial goals. One of the most important goals that he scored was in Premier League against Arsenal, but the one that was even more important was still when he was at Argentina with Racing. They were playing the Trofeo de Campeones, and he was able in extra time to score a fantastic, beautiful header to give them that trophy, to give them that win. A player of personality. At a certain moment, he was playing against Boca Juniors, and he went on his knee, doing a prayer on his knee in front of the Boca Juniors fans after scoring a goal. His journey in 1 year with Southampton is 47 games, 8 goals, 5 assists. He knows how to pass. He has a beautiful vision. It's an aggressive player of personality. He knows how to be there, to show presence on the field. There is just one thing. Pay attention. Are we speaking about the immediate starter? Wait, because in this season only, on 2,340 minutes at disposal, he played 1,311. So it's a player that is still alternating starts and full game with game that is coming from the bench, which makes it also a bit easier for Juventus, for Max Allegri, to ask him to come in, and not a player that is coming, that is asking, requiring immediately to be a starter. We have our balance, Rabiot, Locatelli, and the Weston McKennie, where it's a player that can gradually enter, making the difference, a player that can also bring us something more in offensive phase, because it's a player that more and more he is evolving. He's a player that is an attacking midfielder, but still versatile. More details in the second video of the day that I'm sure you will not have the will to miss. So put the notification ring on. Now, there was yesterday another player that is also coming from South America, but this time from Brazil, from Palmeiras. We are speaking about Pedro Felipe that joined the J Medical. Will do his test, probably maybe official today. That's beautiful, reinforcing the defense there. We already spoke about it. There is just one thing I hope that it's not a player that is there to sub Gleison Bremer. Why? Because there is a bad news in today's video. There is Manchester United that is extremely interested in Gleison Bremer, that is actually more interested in him than Matthijs de Ligt, because they were interested in the Dutchman a few weeks ago. Looks like now their target is Gleison Bremer, and they even want to put 70 million euro on the table. So pay attention for that. Hopefully we can keep Gleison Bremer. That is fantastic. And I finish with the last news about yesterday. I told you I had the pleasure, the honor to interview. Actually, interview is a big word. To have a chat together with Jonas Rouhi. That is the next-gen player that is now doing fantastically well after a difficult start of the season where he was not playing that much. Well, yesterday, 3 things that I want to keep. The first one, he told me, and I will try to clip it so that you can hear it from himself.
What do you want me to do? To play, not why I'm not playing, because that's a different question.
If you heard it, fantastic. What did he say there? I asked him, how were you reacting in the beginning of the season where you were not playing? He said, I'm not angry. I was not angry with the coach. I went to the coach, and instead of asking him, why am I not playing? I asked him, what should I do in order to play? Ragazzi, 20 years old, just celebrated 20 in January. Fantastic maturity. These are the things that I love. He also spoke about the number that one day he would love to wear. He said, if I have the choice, I go for 73, because both my parents are born in 1973, which is actually really beautiful, in showing respect to the parents, which is really beautiful. Actually, he made a joke. He said, without them, I would not be here today on Twitch and on YouTube together with you, which was actually super funny. That he was loving watching the videos of Ronaldinho, that he was watching one after the other. He knows all the highlights and skills. Just to tell you that also the players that we love, the future generation, they love these kind of things. And at the end, you know, we were sending messages on Instagram, and he told me, Beppe, thank you for the invite on Twitch. I really enjoyed the moment. And he also told me one of the most beautiful things that I heard ever. He said, you're a really great interviewer. And I love these kind of things, because really it was extremely appreciated to see these kind of things. Someone that not only enjoyed the time with me, but also saying, Beppe, you are a great interviewer. I was actually a bit shy yesterday when I read that comment. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you. Grazie. Forza. Juve.
Mercato is crazy. La 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 la. Mercato is crazy. La 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 la. Mercato